Hey, welcome back to History of Design. This is week 5, the start of week 5. If anybody tried to jump on at midnight to watch the video, I'm sorry. I'm posting a little bit later in the day today, but no big deal. So we are on session 5. So we got a few things to talk about, and then I'm really going to just today delve into the sketches, the rough sketches, and for the brochure. It's almost one of the most creative parts, and it's also most technical parts. Um, and I'll go through that, and I'm going to split this up, and I'm going to do the creative part today. I'm going to handle some of the technical part for the next video in this session, and then I'm also going to talk about uh, making sure we're doing everything correctly uh, when it comes to designing and setting up our documents. What does that mean? So, okay, first off, let's see if I can make this bigger. Oh, it's like getting bigger. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that'll be, I mean, we're not going to sit here and read this, but um, all right, we're in session 5. So again, important checklist. When I talk about this, go over it. I still see people is the bleed, you're not pulling bleed. When you do the bleed, you have to, when you do a background color, it has to go all the way to the bleed. When you make your margin, make sure the margin doesn't have a white fill. It says make sure it has no fill. You don't want any fill. You just want a magenta line that shows this is where I can't go past. I see a lot of those entry errors in this, and you need to get it right because when you go to print and it's screwed up, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. Oh, this isn't print right. This isn't what I showed you. They'll say, no, this is the document you gave us and this is how it printed. Or they're going to fix it for you and then charge you. And then you'll be like, how come I didn't make any money? Blah, blah, blah. And this cost double what it cost. And like, oh, because we had to fix everything you did wrong. So there is a technical part to this graphic design thing besides the art part. These are this first two are the two that I see wrong the most. So make sure you're getting that right. All right. We know what to do. I'm going to go over this again in the future. Hopefully, maybe for the next lecture, I'm going to go over one of these, or maybe it'll be next week, really in detail again. How to set it up, how to develop it, how to use, because I want to get into more techniques. I have a bunch of techniques I want to show you, but until we get the base done better, I don't want to show advanced techniques. Project A final, everybody who turned it in on time, I've responded to. I've given you your last little updates, and I believe you have one extra thing to do. Add mockups. I want 3 posters in 3 distinct settings. You've done this before. I'm just going to say this. I know you've done this before. If you've had me in a class, you've done it in other classes where you put your poster and make it look like the poster is somewhere. That's what we need to do. Student example. I don't know why it's asking me to sign in. There it looks. It looks like it's somewhere. Put it in a bus stop, put it wherever you want. Make sure, here's the biggest things. Keep your proportion, all right? Don't squish it, squash it, make it skinny. Don't put your rectangle poster into a square environment. That doesn't make sense. Like, that's just poor judgment. Like, do it. Like, if it's a rectangle, find a appropriately sized rectangle space for it. If it is a square, find an appropriate square. That's how you should do it. Like, you want these to look really good. So don't, throw it together. You got a week to do that. So that's that. All right, roughs and sketches and text. The text is getting the text. Let's see. 12 pages, sketches. By this point, you know what a sketch is. I'm going to show you how to do the sketch. We need the text in there. Where is this text below? Oh, it's missing. Oh, here, text. There it is. I'm like, it's got to be in there. Right there. 800 words. Again, you don't have to write it. You just pull it from other places. So your final brochure, shape size of your choice, I'm going to go over that. A minimum of 8 pages. I'm going to go over that. 12 images. We all know what 12 images is. 800 words. Use Google Docs to check your word count. I do copy and paste out if I see it short, and do check word counts. I'm not asking you to write it. I'm asking you to gather it from sources. So you shouldn't be like, I had to write an 800-page paper. No, get it, source it. You know, go get 8 different 100 words from 8 different sources that each talk about a different topic in your about your brochure, and you're done. And that's like 8 small paragraphs. It's not that much. We know how to do sketches. I'm going to talk about that. And so then we want to see everything. I want to see all the pictures. I want to see all the text. Not done, but I just want to see it. Like, these are the pictures I want to use. This is the text I'm going to use. And these are my rough sketches for the presentation. So we'll show you the student example, and then I'm going to show you some other examples. Or I'm going to walk through it a little bit more for you all. These are above rough. They're very good. But you can see everything that's happening. Covers like what they kind of want. They know their interest. They know like when it folds, how it's going to look front and back. Here's a square one. They went longer. And then the body copy, and then their images and their sources. Okay. So let's talk about the brochure. Let's talk about the brochure itself. It's an 8-page brochure. So it generally means, if we look at this picture, it would be, this would be one side. Oh, is it going to do that all the time? And we see 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the panels. That's going to be irritating. And then if you flip it over, there's 4 more panels. This is down and dirty, like the most basic version, but it goes beyond that. So you have to look at how setups are when you look at these, and know, where's my cover, where's my information going within the brochure. So here's a really good one. This one. This shows the front and the back. So you'll have a front. I don't want to roll over it because it goes white. You have a front. Oh, this one didn't go white. And a back. But when it folds, where's the front? Where's the back? So here, looking at this, I would actually believe this is the cover. This is the back cover because it folds flat. And then these two are supplemental almost. And I would read across them. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is for a base design. What you should do is get a piece of paper and fold it. Fold it like a brochure. You can accordion fold it. You can do all sorts of different types of folds, and knowing those folds. So like you can kind of like accordion it. Why is it called accordion? Do you guys know what accordion is? That old instrument. So like those are the bellows. You can, you know, some people can, you can do it like if you did, I don't know the names of all the folds. Like you can kind of like fold it in on itself. So it'd be like this, then there'd be a page there and a page there. So like it almost like folds into a spiral, you know, like when you open it. But here's the big, you know, the thing I was talking about is like when you have it, if I get a brochure, it's generally a little bit like you open it on this edge and the fold is on this edge, right? So you grab it with your thumb here. That's my thumb. when I'm opening it. So I grab it with my thumb and I open it like a book. So it opens like a book, which then means that page number 1 and then 2, 3, and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 means that the opposite is going on here. Let's try to do the opposite. So that means then this would be the cover. This would be the back, and then this would be probably what I usually call 5 and 6, because the cover is a standalone when it's folded, and the back is standalone when it's folded. So you have to really like think about where your information is going to go when this is folded as a single unit. So it's never just like you have, oh, I have 2 pieces of paper and I'm going to, cut them down and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your design won't turn out. Because when it's folded, what you thought was 1 is actually 5, and 4 is 8, and like so it does get a little weird and complicated. So you have to look at that. Now let's weird and complicate it even more. Oh, I drew on my wrong layer. Had this all set and I didn't check my layers fill with white. Oh, give me a second. So what you can also do, and I've seen this done, it's 8 pages. Have some fun. I've seen circles. I've seen circles in a row. I've seen circles like going around. I've seen hexagons going around where they all like attach, and like we figured out how to do it so they all attach. I think it had to be octagons. Yeah, octagon as the flat. So like whatever side met, like it met on this side, and then so this side was the middle of the next one, and then this side is the middle of the next one. Much easier if you just do it. But you can do stuff like you could do a poster. I love this one. So like say you're like, I want to emulate a poster also, but it has to be a brochure. And so like this is a poster, but then it folds in half and then in 4s, which actually gives you 9 pages. So it would be like, it's really hard. Like it would be like cranked. So like it'd fold in half, and then you'd have your other folds like once it was folded in half. So like they would read it and then open it into a poster, and one side would be all information, and then the other side it would be like broken up into like 1, 2, 4, 8 columns. That's a cool one to do. Um, it doesn't have to be rectangles. You could do squares. You could do, let's get a new layer. You can do more shapes. What am I thinking here? I want to do the, you could do, I was going to say, like, you do really long rectangles for some reason, or how does it, what if you did something like whatever order you want, just as long as there's 8, So if you did 4 here, if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you flipped it, then you'd have 10, but then they would all fold, I'll try that. Like, is that good enough for you guys to understand? Like, making a Maltese cross. But like they all would fold in into each other and to create, what that design is. So I wouldn't, yeah, if you're, just like, no, I just want to do it. I'm just going to do 4 and it's going to be 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And I just wanted to do the 4 columns and one on each side. Then again, I still implore you to go get a piece of paper, fold it, and know, like, when I open it, how does it open? How do people open it? It is important. I've done this. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, every time I do a folded piece, before I get to the designing phase, any of these like cool like ideas like this that I want to do, I actually just like really tiny, like a piece of paper, and I cut it out and I do a crappy sketch. I'm not perfect, and I just cut with scissors, and I'm like, okay, if I'm folding this and opening it, and then I'll hand it to somebody and I'll say, I'm giving you this, open it up, and I'll see how they open it, and I'll give it to somebody else and see how they open it. And you find out, oh, everybody opens it different than I wanted. So then, like, how do I signal to people, like, this is how you open it? So you have to make sure then that, you get your first page right and your last page right, your cover, like, where does that sit in the scheme of the whole design? Once you get that done, the rest is easy. The rest is just what you are practicing is design. The hardest part is like coming up with this and doing this feature. I worked with somebody last semester, and it took us a while to figure out, because they had, I think they had hexagons or octagons, and I went through and I was like, okay, we got to find out where the page break is, because I think initially the idea was to have like a hexagon and they all folded in, but I was like, that doesn't work because you have these overlaps on the hexagon. So even though they drew it out, it was drawn wrong enough that I was like, no, it's not going to work because you have these overlaps here. And then so we took out like the middle and we worked around, and it just took us like once or two going, back and forth. And I'd be like, hey, what about this? And then, oh, what about this? And then we went back and forth and got one that worked, that fit their vision. This is, I do like doing this kind of the work of like, okay, like, how crazy can you get? I've gotten, or in the example somebody showed, let me get that to go. They wanted it to look, like this, skinny on one side, big on the other. How does that look when it's folded? And they kind of showed that it's like, it's going to look a little bit like this. So you have to realize, like, then like on each page, something's exposed, and if this is your cover, is that the small cover, or is it the front cover? But it's all fun. It's part of that creative process to think of what to do. So I would push you all to think about, like, do I want to start with a square? Do I want to start tall rectangle? Do I want to start with a long rectangle? Do I want a circle? I'll help you figure out circles. Do I want, like, everything's possible. Do I want to do the poster? And you can go beyond me. Look up, I always say that, look up super creative brochures. Like, I'm just going to type in super creative brochures. Images. There we go. We got the octagon, hexagon. Oh, this one, they got it to work. All because of how they set it off. I see that. That worked out great. Here's that one where it's like really tall. Hexagon. Here's another hexagon. Oh, here's one. Kind of that quad fold out. Die cut. Look at that. That's awesome. I didn't even think about die cut. See, this is why we do research. This is why we look around. Like, honestly, now, like, this has me like, oh, and then seeing this old timey car, and then it kind of goes along with like some of the things we're going to be hitting in the history of design and the designs that we're going to be seeing. So good. I wasn't even thinking die cut like that. And it's so cute. It works out perfect with that side of that car. Here's like the longer version. Let's look a little bit more. Standards. Oh, look at pop outs. These are like pop outs. So you can do a reverse pop out into your designs. That might be really fun. You get, my son used to make these all the time. So you have that, and then you cut the middle and a fold here, and then this is folded one way, and then this pops out the other. So when it would pop out, this would be back behind it. So you could have like your brochure, and then this one would be sucked in. So it'd look like, oh, I love it when I get in a situation. I'm like, I don't know how to draw that. But this is the out one. So this one would then come out or in. But you figured out I did it depends on, yeah, I drew this one wrong and continued. But like you would have those middles pop out. Again, it's something like I got to think about it to get it right and then to see it right. But you could have like a person's picture on those that you're talking about for each one. Like that would be hilarious. Like there's so many things you can do and push that design. Not due today, but coming up then we have to create the die lines. Now, again, as I talked about, we're having some trouble understanding, the margins and not fill, and you got to nail that. Like, not everything you do in Illustrator or InDesign always has to have a fill. Like, no fill, no stroke. You have to understand those, turn those on and off. It's right in properties. But if you look at this design, I have my crop marks. I have my bleed. So anything in the background goes to the bleed. I have fold lines, which are in yellow. And then I have like halfway through my page. And then I started to go even further with this. And I have my margin set for my folds. So that's the other thing we need to think about when we design is you're going to have folds. And so each page is then margined for itself, and you don't margin the entire page. What do I mean by that? I can hide. Let's see if I can hide some stuff. So if I go here, when we do our final, this is correct, where you have your margins marking each column. And then so my information isn't going too close to the edge, and it's also not going too close to the fold. And it seems funny, we have this big gap here. You can reduce the size of this gap as well. For mine, I did it at this size. You can do it half the size, so then your gap would be half that size. But this isn't correct, where you would just have it simply just folds and no guides to know where my folds are. You can say, have images go over folds. You can have some text, but it has to be pretty bold for it to work well to go over the text. But then you have to watch out for other features. Like, so say I got my brochure and it's opened up, and like you don't want to be like, oh, and then I'll put their face like right here. So like one eye's on one half, like like they're split down the middle, or you're like your paragraph is reading fully across a complete fold. We don't want that. It gets a little bit too hard. Now, if you're doing the poster, like the poster version, it doesn't matter because the end goal is they're going to open it up and read it almost like a full sheet rather than folds. When you have a brochure, you kind of undo your brochure, but I've never seen somebody take like a folded brochure, put it on a table, and then take their hands, and then like on each side, they're like, let me flatten this out as flat as it can be so I can really read it. Like you kind of keep it condensed in your hand, and you usually hold it so you're holding two sections. And if you're reading this, you're holding, these away from each other. So you have to really then watch, where are my folds, where are my images, and all that. You can have stuff go across. I'm not saying you can't have it go across, but it would maybe be like a title, or you split it and then you have like an image here and an image on this side. So it gets kind of involved, like what you think about, but it's so much fun. Like these turn out to be really great projects. So I was talking about this. I'm gonna undo. I want my undo move. I want those back. But I'll talk more about this next class when we start building, or maybe, yeah, I'll do it for the next week, and I'll work on some other stuff with you sooner. But yeah, I'll work on like, figuring out like, okay, what should this distance be? Should be half of that. Like, and then you can just do simple things like, again, it's using Illustrator to help you do everything. Like that took 1 second, and all I have to do is copy and paste that, and my margin is now half the size. So it's not an involved process. You just have to it's really used to using the instruments that you have to create what you want. We're not teaching you, there's nothing new here. It's just understanding like the base of the design and then getting it to be exactly how you want. Again, use pieces of paper, use mock-ups, to help you get those initial setups for your drawings. So you can have what's in your head that you do with the quick drawings, and setting it up. And when I do, like I did my quick drawings, I want actually this, I'll show a little bit more. Maybe, like, because I'm doing these in seconds. So like, even if you did, you're like, okay, I have this, and I figured it out. And so I'm like, this is my cover, this is the back, and on the cover, it's gonna, have my title, and I want like an image coming in from the edge, and it's gonna have like maybe a very little information, and maybe I do want it, like I'm gonna have an image that crosses. And then the back cover, like for this one, do I want this to be back cover, or do I want, this to be the back cover? Which you can try to make people loop around in the read. So then this would be maybe this would be all my sites, or then maybe this will be my sites. So then that gets me into like, okay, I should do 2 designs to figure where I want it. So one would be sites here with the front cover, and then I have an image go across, and then like, so I would have my information first, but then say like think about it, think about your 8 pages and think about what you want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cover, back cover. That leaves 6 pages. I want to talk. This is about topic. So you understand what I mean. About topic. About topic. And then this is person. 1, person. 2, person. 3, person. 4. Or about, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 this is about a piece, about a person, about a piece, about a person, like, and then so now you have, you separate it out that way. And that will make the whole process easier if you start to break it down and be like, I'm going to break this brochure down into informational packets as well. Like, so then I have my topic. I need 200 words on the topic and 100. Oh, you need more. Like 300 words on the topic, 100, 100, 100, 100. Or I divide that out now, and we're short. That's 700, so it's 125. There you go. So that's, and then then you have a really good working thing. And then you're like, okay, so then for that, if you have that system, you're like, I want a picture of the person. I want their name really funky. I'm going to write about them, 125 words, and then I'm going to have their piece, a bunch of their pieces. I'm going to do like 3 pieces. But then on the other one, I'm going to maybe like flip-flop and have their name here. And then I'm going to have 3 pieces about them. And then their about stuff is down here. So you keep it interest instead of me just copying this same thing. I'm like flipping it to this page. And so it creates more interest. Here's my face. And then these are pictures. So it's really up to you. But like break it down into segments, sections, whatever works best for you. Again, reach out to me if you have questions, comments, or concerns. I've seen for InDesign, I know you guys have had to do some folding stuff. So it has come across your plates already. This is going to come across again. And I'm telling you, like, these are the exciting projects. Doing just a flat piece of paper is boring. Doing those posters, that's just a creative outlet that we do, and it gets you to try different styles. I wish I had more time to assign more of these kind of weird brochures for you. I should integrate it into my others. And you know what? I think I'm going to start doing that. So cool. I hope everything's going good for everybody. Let me know if you have questions, comments, or concerns. Please reach out to me. I will be back. If you're seeing this today, it's tomorrow on those blackboards. And if you have any immediate concerns, always just email me or text me with immediate concerns. Otherwise, I kind of try my best to stay on top of things. Like I said, if you're waiting for something and I didn't hit it and I didn't see it, just let me know and I will get to it as soon as I can. All right. Looking forward to seeing the topics, looking forward to seeing some crazy stuff. So yeah, I'll check topics tomorrow and get through all that. And hopefully everybody's got some good topics and good starters for that. I will double check. I think the rough drafts, there's some people that on the posters that were really close to being done. So you'll have an easier week just knocking out the few changes. I'll double check your changes and then turn in your finals. So awesome. Yep, double check on Monday, see where you're at, and I will talk to you later in the week with more information. Like I said, I think I'm going to go over tricks and tips for the next one and show you how to do some great, cool design effects within the programs. And then next week, I will cover off creating guidelines a little bit better. So, all right, take care. Talk to you later. I'll finish up with the screen. Oh, I closed it all out. All right. Well, again, take care and see you later. Bye-bye.